Welcome, everybody. Today we have the one and only Jill Wright. She is a heart center leader and CEO of the Executive Shine. She is the host of the Executive Shine podcast, best-selling author, speaker, executive coach, and she has been featured in the Forbes magazine and the Harvard Business Review. Welcome, Jill, to the Be Fearless podcast. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited too.
And thank you for all you're doing, really encouraging women and uplifting them and empowering them to really be fearless and do the things that they are meant to do in the world. So your work is so valuable. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So tell me, Jill, where are you from?
Well, I was originally born in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So, people that come from Minnesota are all, the Midwest. So I have that Midwest work ethic. And I think I was born with a big love of people. And so that's the thing I think I've carried with me from Minnesota all the way through my life. And it's really served me in all of these different areas. And that's how I've kind of gotten into the human connection piece, because I just love people.
Yeah, I love talking to you. I love you so much. Hey, so where are you located right now? So you're from Minnesota. Where you are right now?
I'm in Colorado. And it's freezing here.
That was my next question. I'm like, I'm about to choke. Like Colorado, like how many degrees is right now?
I think our high today is going to be 23.
And I've been such a baby because I have 33 degrees right now, and I'm being like such a baby about it. Oh my gosh. So tell us about you growing up. Who was Jill Wright growing up?
Well, someone asked me that the other day, and they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I remember vividly sitting on my dad's lap and talking about what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I said, all I want is to make people happy.
So that was your dream, just make people happy?
That was what and originally I think I used to put a record on in the living room and run down the hall to my bedroom, and I had these tall closet doors, and I used to think that I was going to make people happy from being a performer. So I would hide behind the closet doors because, we had records back then. I'm a little older than you.
Uh-huh.
So I would put it where they would go for a few seconds before it would actually start the song. And then, so I would have time to hide in the closet and then burst through the doors and start singing and performing in my room,
It is interesting that you mentioned that part of your childhood specifically, because when we're kids, we dream big dreams. Like we have big dreams. And then when we turn into adults, we stop dreaming.
So true.
And it's so important to keep those dreams. And then you kept your dream about making people happy. And what do you do then?
Well, it was such an accident the way it happened. When I went to school, I graduated early. I hated school. Because they taught you about things that aren't relevant in life. I'm like, this doesn't matter. I want to connect with people. I want to learn from people and talk to people and be with them. And so one of my girlfriends started shining shoes, and I had a car accident in 1987. And previously I was managing health clubs.
Okay.
And where I dealt with people, and I loved that. And, she said, you should do this with me. It's really fun. And I thought, oh, you must be having one of your midlife crisis. That must be what happens when you're 40. And, now I'm like in my 50s. So that is definitely what happens when you're 40. But I went and I saw what she was doing, and she was meeting the most fantastic people and serving them. And it's kind of like artwork when you do that. And then not only would they have great conversation, but then they told you were the greatest thing in the world because they were so happy with your work. And then at the end, they paid you. And I thought, ooh, this is kind of a good program. You know, they tell me I'm wonderful, and then they give me money. So I started doing that. And then I had my own contract at a hotel downtown Denver at the Hyatt. And I met one of the managers of the Airports Authority in DC, where you are.
Oh my gosh. And that's how you ended up having your business in DC, in Ronald Reagan?
Yeah. So it really matters, for your listeners, it really matters that you show up as your best, for everyone, because I met him very late at night, right when I was about to close. And he said, "Are you still open?" And I could have said no.
Exactly.
But I said yes. And I took care of him. And we had this wonderful conversation. And my brother was going to Johns Hopkins at the time. And he said, "Would you be interested in coming to Washington? Because we would love to have this kind of service in Washington. And we're developing a new concept." Now, mind you, this is 1987. And we're developing a new concept in Washington, and it's called Innovative Air Courts. Because previously they used to have just the cafeteria. There wasn't any logo, all of that was provided by Marriott. There wasn't, all the variety of different restaurants. And different things. So he said, we're starting new things, and we would love to have you as part of that new program. And I said, great. And, you're 20 years old. You think that just means that next week he's going to a ticket or something, and you're just going to go to Washington.
So how long it took you to, get established there?
Well, it took about a year, and we went back and forth, and with shoeshine stand designs and all of that type of thing. And then he sent me, so I still thought I was just going, whenever he told me. And then he sent me this giant thing called a request for proposal, which you are probably familiar with being in Washington. But as a 20-year-old girl in Colorado, I was like, what is this? I'm allergic to 2 pieces of paper sticking together. Like 100. So really, I had cardiac arrest, no kidding. And so I went to the Small Business Administration, and I said, okay, here it is. What the heck do I do with this? And they really helped me. They go through and create a proposal to submit to Washington. And so I did. And at the time, you'll laugh. At the time, we had to submit things via fax, because, the old fax machines with that thermal paper and everything.
Yes.
So I faxed.
Oh, hold on. You're talking the one that the paper rolls in, right?
Yes. I mean, old school.
Oh my gosh.
So I faxed my proposal to them, and it was 77 pages long, and the paper didn't cut. So they had rolls and rolls of my proposal all over their floor. In the office, it was very funny. And so they tease me that I'm unforgettable because, there was no cut in my paper. So they figured it out, and I did end up winning that contract. And
that's amazing.
It was crazy. And the first weekend I was there, I trained people because I also opened a location at the Crystal City Hyatt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I trained people there, and I was all ready, and I thought I was good. And the first weekend I was open, nobody showed up but me. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I had 3 locations,
Mm-hmm.
which I drove them there cross country in my truck, with all packed in my truck so that I could set up in Washington all by myself. I rented a room. I slept on on the floor on a mattress, for the first year I was in business. And so the first weekend I was open, like I said, no one showed up but me. So I had to go in between all the different locations and make it look like I was open. So I'd do a few customers, and then I'd run to the next location and do a few customers. And so when you're starting in business, it doesn't go perfectly.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's such a good example, because a lot of people, 6 months pass by and then you get frustrated, and then you just quit, right? And I know that because I've been there, done that. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs have felt the same way, have done the same thing many times. But that's such an important concept, just to continue thriving until you get your results. So after that, how many airports, how many contracts then you went for after DC?
Well, I was in DC I started there in, DC contract started in 1989. And I was there through 2002. But while I was there, the Denver airport opened, and they were looking for shoeshine. And so I also used that same proposal and modified it a little bit for Denver. And then I submitted it with 33 other contractors to the Denver airport. And then I was awarded that contract as well. But they kind of award those based not only on your proposal, but on your track record.
Mm-hmm.
And the first year I was open in Washington, I worked 361 consecutive days.
Oh, wow.
So it's not, you have to be in it for the long haul, and it isn't easy, but it does pay, big dividends, because then when you've created your customer base, then people are talking about you. What you're doing is really making an impact on people. And when I first started, I didn't know what my impact was going to be. I thought, well, I'm this 20-year-old girl. How am I going to impact? You live in Washington. There's a lot of high-level people in Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I didn't know. I was intimidated, and I didn't know how I was going to be able to impact them. And so I just did simple things. In Washington, everybody wears a suit, and it's very very clean cut, and
yeah,
everybody wears black shoes and black socks. And I thought that was kind of boring. So I had a customer one day that had fun socks on, and I said, I should have a contest. So whoever wears the coolest socks gets a free shoe shine. And oh my God, that started an epidemic.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Like, it was crazy. And people these are, who lives in Washington, senators, congressmen.
Yeah, business, high-end business owners.
High-end CEOs, lobbyists, all these people. And they are shopping, having their wives shop, their assistants shop for them, their daughters shop for them, so that they could have the coolest socks, so they could win this contest at the shoeshine stand.
Oh, wow.
This is crazy.
So let me ask you a question. So then you expanded, then you opened in Denver, and then how many other locations?
Well, I opened in Denver in March 13th of 96.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Charlotte airport heard about what we were doing. And then I opened in Charlotte in 2005.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
That's
I've been there for a
awesome.
long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And how many years?
It's, 33 years now.
Wow.
But it's all based on what I learned from that silly contest. I learned that, wow, these people needed human connection.
Connection.
That was what I could give them.
Uh-huh.
I could see who they were. I could create safe space for them to not to be a Supreme Court justice, not to be a CEO, just to sit there and just connect as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I call that soul to soul, but I connect as a human being and be seen for who you are behind the title, behind the mask.
Exactly.
And that still holds true today, is that's what people are really craving, is how to really connect with people
That's
and
right.
their teams, and how to make people feel important and valued and all of those things. So
That's right. That's correct. I know that we were talking before we started the podcast, and there's something that I like from your niche, and is that human connection, especially. And I mentioned because we are living in a world right now where everything is technology, everything is digital, and we are meant to be social. The humans are meant to be social, and we are losing that connection over all these devices, and we are craving for that. And you and your business give that to your people. So let me ask you a question, because I know you got, you grow your business, you're having all this success, and then you became a best-selling author. How that happened?
well, this summer, in this, say, summer of reinvention,
Mm-hmm.
when all of this stuff happened with the pandemic and us being shut down, then I had time to connect in different ways. And I have had 2 opportunities this summer to be in best-selling books. And the first one was, I'll show you, let's see. The first one was this 1 Habit for Entrepreneurial Success, which is a fantastic book with 150 different entrepreneurs sharing their 1 habit and what has really made them successful. So there's so much wisdom in that book, and also the unhabit. So what they do that they their unhabit, what they are not doing, what they have to catch themselves.
Mm-hmm. So you did that during the pandemic. Now, let me ask you something, because I know your business, depended a lot of that human connection. How 2020 affected you in regards to your business? How impacted you?
Well, we shut down. So in March, I had just been on a cruise, and I left on my cruise March 15th, and I came home March 5th. I came home March 15th. And in that 10-day period, they basically shut down the world. So I was like, what? This happened. I went to your native country, Puerto Rico, on that cruise. And it's one of my favorite stops that I go to. And we got home, and they shut us down. So I became very depressed. I listened to other people, and they're saying to me, okay, now you have to become now you have to do online business. You have to be on Facebook. You have to do all of these things. And I've not done that ever before, because I'm a human, soul to soul. I give hugs. I'm like a real connector. And so I learned from many different people. That's how I met you in different courses, from Angel, from Forbes, and learned how to have presence on camera, to be able to do those kinds of things and leverage the things I know. But in that process of trying to learn something new, I think I lost part of who I was. I thought, okay, I have to be different. I have to be online. And for me, in my little brain, I thought that online was different somehow than being in person.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout this year, I've had to really learn and go through this whole shift, and learn who am I online, but bringing all of myself into what I do. And it has been a big learning experience for me. And once I just let go of trying to create something different, and I just started showing up as my authentic self and saying, you know, this is what I do. I help companies build relationship with their people so that they have that service culture, and it kind of permeates everything that they do. I say love rolls downhill.
Uh-huh.
But it comes out of
Well, it does roll down hills, because we have here, Cora May is saying she likes you and she's sending you hugs already. Like, it really goes downhill. Like, that's true. That's true what you're saying.
It's so true. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, we've been written up in Forbes, and for this culture, and for this service, and for doing the little things that make a big difference in business.
Mm-hmm.
And that people ask me all the time, well, what do you do? Like, what's your secret? And I say, I just love my people. And I figure out what one of the basic principles that we operate our business on is, what does love look like for the person in front of me right now?
That's right.
So what does it look like for my employee today? Maybe they're going through something at home. How can I serve them? How can I connect with them? How can I add value? In the One Habit book, I wrote about always adding value.
Mm-hmm.
How can I add value to their life right now? Maybe that's listening.
Exactly.
You know? Maybe it's making them laugh. You know, I lost my mom a year ago, and one of my friends, you know, when you go through something like that, people call you up and they say, how you doing? Well, that's the worst question in the world, even though it's human nature to ask that question. But they say, how you doing? And you don't want to think about that.
That's right.
You don't want to know how I'm doing, because it's not good. And I just got my mind off of it. And thank you so much. Now you reminded me.
Uh-huh.
And one of my closest friends, who I dearly love, he would call me up and say, do you have time for a story? And I would say, I knew. And every time he would make me laugh. He would tell me something that took my mind off of what I was thinking about. And it's so interesting how that comes full circle, because I'm friends with Mark Victor Hansen is one of our customers, you know, the guy who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul and all of those books. And we've become very good friends over the past 30 years. And one of the things he asked me is, how do you connect with all of these people, you know? And I said, I asked them advice. I distract them from, so if they come to me as a stressed out person, then I say, you know, could you help me with something? You know, I want to take my mom on vacation. So I've been asking all of my customers the best place to go on vacation. And what happens is nothing short of miraculous. People puff up and they say, oh, of course I'll help you. Oh, I've got the perfect place for you. You need to go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Go, so they tell me the most magnificent information. So, I'm like, okay, note to self, I need to go there.
Yeah.
So they tell you that, but they feel so good about sharing something with you, and they feel like they made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? They forget what they were stressed out about.
Yes.
So they connect you, your business, your whole experience in your, business environment with feeling good.
Yes.
And they don't even know what you did. They just said, wow, I went to that shoeshine stand and I had such a good time. And I feel really good about myself. I'm not stressed out. My shoes look wonderful. I got my feet rubbed. I had the most fantastic conversation. And now I'm going to go have an amazing day. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. I muted the phone. Thank you.
Bless you. Bless you.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, that's fantastic. And I bet that they were coming back over and over and over again.
They do. They do. And, I wrote 30 years ago, I read that book, In Search of Excellence by Tom Peters, which is, I'm older than you. So this was a way back when. But, I just heard an interview with him the other day, and he said something. He said he's written like 17 books. And basically, he said, don't you get it? It's about the people. I could take a book and put it on the Xerox machine and put a new cover on it and sell it again, but it's the same thing. It's about the people. So if you can make people feel good by seeing who they really are, and this applies to any business. This is why Angel does well. This is why, because she sincerely loves people, and you do too. And you can feel it in your show, the way that you interview. You really care and you really love people. And you think that that's normal and natural, but it's people don't know exactly how to do that, and they don't know that people receive love differently. Maybe they try to love someone and it doesn't go well, and they think, oh, I'm not good at it. But they don't understand that that people receive things differently. So that's why we say, what does love look like for the person in front of you right now? Because maybe they're on the phone, and so in that case, love looks like shutting your mouth,
Yeah.
And it, how does that look? And so it's developing that muscle of awareness and listening to people and understanding them. And so giving them the what love looks like and what appreciation looks like. So for your employees, what does appreciation look like for your people?
Exactly.
Different. Some people want a parade, and some people want like a little Post-it note that says,
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't live
Thank you. Take the day off.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So when you figure out those things, then you're able to really connect with people in meaningful ways and really make a difference.
Yeah. Oh my God,
So
you're amazing.
okay.
You're amazing. And you also are a speaker, right? You go to companies and speak to them about human connection and all that. And you also are an executive coach. I mean, I mean, you're fabulous, Jill.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you
you so
so
much.
much.
But I really care about the people. I'm like Simon Sinek and I must be soulmates. I swear to God. Because we have that same feeling like I want people to get up in the morning and have fun going to work. I want you to feel like a happier, better person after your day at work, and then you can go home and create that life that you want. I want you to have fun. So days go faster when you have fun.
Yes.
So I want to help people. So what I'm doing now, I told you through the course of this year, it's been a big shift for me.
Mm-hmm.
So now people are working with virtual teams and they're saying like, oh my God, it's different. And I went through that. Oh my God, it's different. And then I'm realizing, oh my God, it's not different. We are now on Zoom screens.
That's interesting that you said that because making that human connection through the virtual world is not easy to do. So what is like the number one thing that you will tell people to try when they find themselves in that situation of being unable to connect with somebody through their virtual environment?
Well, doing the things that they are naturally good at. So one of the things that I talk with leaders about is remembering what they're already good at. So for example, one of the leaders that I am working with now, she is a really excellent cook. And I know how she's had me over to her house. She's cooked, she's prepared food for tons of women. And I said, are you doing that with your team? Do I know how loving you are? So all we need to do is shift that so that you can then apply the same things you do naturally and bring those things into your business. How about having dinners together? How about virtual dinners? You can send them something, you can cook together, you can share together. How about coming together every week and sharing what your win was that week? And personal and professional, and what your challenge was that week. And really having some authentic conversation and what your ask is. What do you need? What do you need from the team? How can we be real with each other? We're a team. How can I use your skills are completely different than mine? I have no organizational skills whatsoever. And I have people on my team that absolutely are thrilled about spreadsheets and doing all of that stuff. And at first I felt terrible, like, oh, I don't want to burden you. And they're like, oh no, that would thrill me. Give me the opportunity to serve in that way. And so when you understand that each part of your team has a different piece of the puzzle, and that when you come together and you support each other, you feel good.
That's right.
As leaders, and this has been really true for me. One of my friends, and I was bawling during this conversation, I'll just say, I said, I'm not used to accepting support. I'm not used to not having the answers. I've been an owner, a founder, a boss for 33 years. the people that work for me, I have no turnover. So I have people that have worked for me 25 years, 20 years, 15 years. So they're my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so you feel responsible, when things happen. And I feel like I'm obligated as their leader to have an answer or to support them. But what makes a team and what makes a really good leader is to be able to be vulnerable and to accept help from your team and say, you know what, guys, I'm doing the very best I can, and I don't know the answers. I don't know what's going to happen with this pandemic. This is new
It's for everybody.
for me, but being vulnerable with them and saying, I don't know, I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to bring us together and we're going to make it through this. I do know that, but do I know what it looks like? Not exactly.
Exactly.
And when you give other people, just like I said about the advice, when you give other people the opportunity to pour into you, that's what builds confidence in them. Then they feel like, wow, I made a difference today.
Yeah.
That's
so right.
It's so true.
It is. It is.
True.
Oh my gosh, so much value. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough for everything that you just said today. This has been such a good interview. I knew it from the beginning. I was like, yeah, it's going to be great. Okay, so anything else before we go into how people can contact you? Any last word to my audience?
I guess what I like people to keep on their mind is what I said about what does, give love in your sphere of influence. So what does love look like for the people around you today? And then think in your head, what does excellence look like right now? It keeps you on track for yourself and keeps you focused on bringing the best of yourself into everything that you do, and connect with another person. Tell them how much they make a difference. The work that you're doing, and I think all of your listeners can really feel your heart, because that's what makes your show so successful. I think, I watch your episodes and you really connect with the heart and the soul of people, and they really feel your authentic caring when you are putting this show together, because you really are committed to making a difference. And so I would say to your listeners, take what you see from Dagmar, take her lessons and go make a difference in the life of someone today. And I did put something together for your group.
Yay!
I put some keys to authentic connection. So some tips to kind of get you started in what does authentic connection look like for you.
Awesome.
And I call it it's theshinegift.com. So they can go right there and they can register, and then we'll send them that information. They can sign up for the newsletter. I'm also doing a course, and I'm just about to launch that. It's called The Shine Principles. And it's about all of the things that are involved in supporting your team, whether or not your team is your family or your team is a multi-million-dollar business team. But how do you nurture those around you? and support them and be able to, I look at leadership like I'm the conductor of a symphony.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the players in the symphony play different instruments.
Yes.
So it's my job to, I have the song that we're going to play, but then I nurture their ability to contribute their particular music to our symphony.
I love that. I love that. Yes.
So that's what I'm helping people do now, and in this new virtual space, and really connecting with leaders and helping them really build powerful relationships, because this is an opportunity to really, I think people are more vulnerable now and more isolated and really need that connection. So this is an opening that they might not have had before, because before people were like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, and I'm busy. Now we have more time, and and we're more open, because you never realize you need connection until you don't have it.
Exactly.
So before we thought, oh, we're fine, we're good, whatever. And now we're realizing, wow, this isolation sucks.
That's right.
And I would like to get to know people in a new way. And how can I pour into them? And how can I allow them to pour into me?
I think that's the most difficult part, allowing others to pour into us.
Because I feel wrong. Honest. I feel like I should know this. Why don't I have it all together? Why? And so admitting, wow, I do need that. And it's okay to need that.
Yes.
And I'm not burdening someone else because I need a little love today.
Yeah.
And being whole enough to say, you know what, I could really use a little support today. And you don't have to air all of your dirty laundry and tell them everything that's happened. There's a way to do it, but to reach out and to have a support, a kind of a power team around you of friends, and say, you know what, guys, today I need a little love today. And being a strong enough person to say that. And it's not easy. That's been a hard thing for me, because for myself, I put that standard on myself that I'm supposed to know this. I'm supposed to be okay. I'm supposed to have the answers. And really being vulnerable enough for myself and saying, I don't have the answer today, and today I could use a little support.
Oh, wow. That's right. We all need that support. We all need some support at some point in our life. And that's so true. We need to learn how to open up and be receptive to when people wants to give us their knowledge, their support, and their love. Also, you have a website where people can go and get connected with you and get your courses. Right?
Yes, I will be posting the Shine Principles course on my Executive Shine website. Right now, that's just my shoeshine stuff. They can also connect with me on LinkedIn, and Jill Wright on LinkedIn. I live in Elizabeth, Colorado, so they can search me that way. On Facebook, on all of that stuff. I'm just learning this Facebook stuff. And all of this, like I said, all of this online business, but, connect with me. They can email me directly at jill@executiveshine.com. And if they want to have a conversation about how we can support their company, or if they just want a friend, tell them to reach out.
Say jill@executiveshine.com, right?
Yes.
I'm going to put that up there. for everybody so they have your email so they can chat and connect with you through email. That's amazing. I have to say, Jill, thank you so much for being here today. I enjoy having this conversation with you. I love what you do. I do also believe that human connection is so important, not only in our business, but in every level of our lives. And, just doing a little bit towards making that connection on daily basis it's it can change someone's life.
You absolutely can change lives. And I think that's what you're doing too with your show, is you're changing the lives for people because you're giving them such good messages about things that can really make their life, enhance their life so much. So thank you for everything you're doing too.
Thank you. You're welcome. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Today has been an amazing interview. Thank you so much, Jill, for your message, for your time. Guys, you need to replay this podcast because it definitely is packed with so much value. And if you really need to grow your human connection, you definitely need to hear this one more time. Please don't forget, next Monday, we have with us the one and only Tony Solecki. And in the meantime, have an amazing weekend. Don't forget to unlock your potential and be fearless. See you then. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Thank you.